Okay, in this video, I'm just going to talk about lining up your output using format manipulators. There's two integers, x is 5, y is 10, two double values, dx right here and dy, and two strings. Name is Jane Doe and city is Niagara Falls. And on the first line, I'm just displaying x and y with a space between them, dx and dy with a space between them, and name and city. So I'm not using any format manipulators. And that's what displays. Okay, so with integers and with really everything, you can use set width if you want to align them. So I'm going to set a width to 5. Then I'm going to display x. Make sure that you include IO manip. Now you'll see that it sets a width to 5 and it puts the number 5 in it. So there's 4 blank spaces and a 5. These integers are right aligned by default. Okay, and just to be clear, that's IO manip. I think I spelled it incorrectly a minute ago. So I could do a set with 5. And now both x and y will be in a field width of 5. It doesn't leave 5 blank spaces. It's 4 blank spaces with a 5 in it, and then 3 blank spaces, 1, 0. So that's how to use set width. Here we're going to talk about setting the precision, so you can specify the number of places after the decimal point. Anytime you use set precision. Well, let me just say one more thing about set width. Set width just works for the next one thing. So when I set the width to 5, it only worked for x. So next we're going to look at, when we look at set precision, it'll stay in effect until you change it to something different. You always have to have fixed prior to set precision. If you don't have fixed, set precision will not behave as expected. And sometimes, since it works for all, you might do something like this. Okay, and now I'm going to just put it on a line by itself, and it'll affect everything after it. And I have to spell set precision right. And by setting the precision to 2, these numbers both have 2 places exactly after the decimal point, and it will round up as appropriate. This was 123.456, so it rounds it up to 46. This was 456.789, so it does round it up. And again, only appropriate. If it's 5 or higher, it rounds it up. Otherwise, it doesn't. Those are rules of rounding. Now remember, it's only changing the way it displays. It's not changing what's stored in memory. And these also are just displaying with the defaults. If I wanted to set a width for each of these, I could. But what's displaying right here is 123.46. That itself requires a width of 6, right, for the 123.45. So I've got to set the width to something larger than 6 if I want some spacing in between that. So let me just set it to 10 for this example. And I'll set the width to 10 over here as well. And I don't need the spaces if I'm setting the width. All right, so right aligned, right? They're in a width of 10. So this is 6. It's got 4 blank spaces in front of it. This requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got 4 blank spaces in front of it. Now these are right aligned by default. If for some reason you want to change the alignment to left, you can do that. And everything after that will be left aligned. So now you see this is left aligned in a field width of 10. This is left aligned in a field width of 10. It didn't affect the line above it because I didn't change it until after that line of code. And if you want to go back to right at any point, you can just do this, and everything else from this point on will be back to right aligned. Okay. So we'll talk about strings. You know, again, I'll just use a set width of 10. Here and here, and we'll see what happens. Right, here's a width of 10. This actually needs more than 10, so it's just going to take as many spaces as it needs. But again, these are right aligned, right? Jane Doe requires 8 with 2 spaces in front of it. So a lot of times we don't like to have strings right aligned because you want them neatly aligned to the left. So often we'll change the alignment on a string to left. And I'll show you what that looks like. Right, so here you have Jane Doe line to the left, the Niagara Falls is aligned to the left. And again, this set width of 10 is really not doing too much right now because that string is even longer than that. But what I'm going to show you now, let's say I put a name and then I want to put a number after it. A lot of times we have like names or strings are aligned to the left, the numbers are aligned to the right. So you can always do that if you want. You can say right, I'm going to set my width to 10. And I'm just going to display the value of dx. So here you can see to the left and to the right. And if I wanted to then, you know, have another, you know, something else line up directly below that, you know, let's say city, and then like the value of dy. Now this is going to be a problem. I set width of 10 because I know my city is longer than that. So I'm just going to change this to 20 and 20. And that's kind of how, if you have a string with a number next to it, that's how you can get that to line up. All right, so I hope this short video helps you better understand the format manipulator, set width, fix, set precision, left and right.